So I've watched the original Twister movie, and it was. I mean, I have a okay reception about it. It's not my favorite movie, but I mean, uh, I quite like it, and I think it left good impression. Although, to be honest, I barely remember anything about it. However, when I see the trailer for the Twister movie 2024, I only got a few impression that this is going to be cheesy. This is going to be a lousy remakes because that's what Hollywood do now. And I swear I wouldn't watch this movie, but then again, I went to with my family. This is for, I mean, we try to spend time and we decide to go to cinema. So unfortunately, we have to move to choose this movie best because there's it's so called the best option from the worst at that time. But then again, I was genuinely delightfully surprised because I actually like this movie. I give it a 7.5 out of 10, and I think it entertaining. I enjoy the whole hours of watching this movie, and it's not as cheesy or it's not cheesy as what I expected. And there actually some coherent storyline. They say low expectation is the key to happiness. I guess it's true, but I think there are more than that. I think this Twister 2024 is what watching based on the reasons below. One, it is not a remake. I think uh, almost everything is different beside some title in plural forms from the predecessor. In fourth natural disaster, there are probably some similar plot, but I think I get a very different experience from this movie instead of like watching, for example, a remake of a scene by scene remakes that doesn't enhance any experience for a good movie. So this is a plus point. It's not a remake. It's probably just a marketing ploy that actually almost worked in reverse for me. I almost didn't want to watch this movie, but for others, I want to let you know that this is not a replica, or you can actually get a new watching experience, and I quite recommend it. Two, it has a coherent plot. Although this is predictable as the plot come in full circles in classic way, I think the way the stories and the character move around is entertaining enough. There are these teenagers who live their life without proper, without real proper preparation, just like what we always watch. They're going to die, something bad is going to happen, it's very obvious. But I think it's a believable scenarios for ambitious science project. I know when I was in the university, my I don't have a exciting major, but for others, it wouldn't be too stupid to think that we can test this one out. It might work in theory. So I don't think this is fast stretch, and although they miscalculate the risk. And then there's this sleazy YouTuber guys that is introduced in the sleaziest way possible. And I don't know why this guy actually looked very sleazy as well. And but I want that car. That is, I really want that the car that he has. It looks very sturdy. It looks like it can climb without me worrying. Not able to climb a steep parking lot, or I can go outdoor. I don't care how what he did. I mean, of course, in a common sense, not in the stupid sense. Hopefully, and then uh, and anyway, this car will eliminate a lot of potential which is a good thing, right? So anyway, it's a predictable plot. It comes in full circle. I think you can, as it goes around, you know the This is the recipe of many movies that we have seen before, but yet it's still entertaining, and there are a good effort in it to make it, I mean, a complete stories. Number three, I think a good science fiction for me is inspired by current situation or technology that is factual enough to be possible. I'm a sucker for science fiction. I don't really like the fantasy elements, but for those what if that can come true from what we have now is the thing that I enjoy the most. And this technology of Twister is obviously not available now. They don't have the scale of the chemical available to control. I mean, they'll need a lot of it in theory, and they don't have the way to launch it. They don't have the right timing. The period of effectiveness are still science fiction, but it's based on theoretically possible scenario, which I appreciate. I think this is more than what viewer could ask for. I've seen. I don't know if actual meteorologists or who watch this movie will appreciate it, or maybe they find a lot of flaws in it, because I did when I watch something that I understand deeply about. But to me, I think the science fiction is good enough. Is a lot of there are a lot of effort. It's more than many viewer could ask for compared to the others movie that the so-called science fiction based, like Lucy, for example. And then anyway, I think they have done respectable due diligence on something very complex. After all, our life is continue to be improved by technology. We still can't fight natural disaster, but we can improve the impact. We can prevent most of the things. I mean, we can prevent the worst. Hopefully, we can actually find a way to counter it as much as we can. We can we we can detect earthquake better. We can build better buildings and alarm system. We can improve and find discover wetter water for better firefighting. We can have radar. We can have satellite imaging. Of course, there will be also be arguments about, should we really actually fight natural disasters? Should does things like tornado happens for reasons? But let's worry about that, because until now we actually still don't fully understand tornadoes. But for I mean, I maybe it's for me, but I actually like this kind of a little bit of nerdy uh, knowledge, and it's fun for me to later go on a further read about how possible it is, how what is the what is the um, what is the theory behind. And of course this is a futuristic technology, but is it does it make sense? Can we actually achieve it one day? This is what I like to read about after I watch this kind of movie. And actually, I'm quite impressed. Of course, me being me, there are a few nitpicks. So my nitpicks are, for a disaster-ridden towns, maybe towns, but my understanding they are not far from each other, and the period of the disaster of are not far from each other. There are two cheers with no preparedness. I mean, if you're living in a place prone to natural disaster, you have some kind of what what do you say, instinct preparation. There was a time when a volcano, when active in my area, is actually create quite a lot of havoc. It claimed casualties. And what we did, I don't know what others did, but what I did is prepare a backpack full of very essential necessity for me and my dog. Hopefully, it never comes to a day when I need to escape. But even if I have to, I can grab the backpack and I was good to go. I, s- I bought, I stock up a mask, those N95 masks, because the ash of the volcano actually reached neighboring town, which is very near to where I was and where I was working. And because I stock up, I didn't mean stock up as in a whole storage room. I actually have a box of the N95 and probably a few small pack of the regular mask. And actually very useful for me when COVID happened because we couldn't find these supplies anywhere. Anyway, I was thinking that these people should be more prepared. After all, it's common in the area. But there are rodeos, there are bazaars, there are they actually know nothing or do barely do anything to face the common disaster. When the wind happened, what they did is trying to save their merchandise. Hello, I think this is a bit too underestimating the reality of the situation, and they should know where to run. They should know what to do. They should know they should save cakes instead of souvenirs. Cakes are important. There's no proper risk management. There's no disaster control. There are no shelter. There are no bunker, and the structure looks like they're mostly made of papier mâché. And then another big pick of me is the availability of the substance that the protagonist use to eventually kill the tornadoes. It's definitely nitpicks because, but usually chemical that used to absorb moisture doesn't last very long in storage. The usefulness and the effectiveness will go down eventually, and we know that this substance is collected by this protagonist when she was a teenager, because after that she actually gave up because she was mourning for her friend, and I don't think she will stock it up. So this chemical are years, probably decades in the storerooms, and it's also make a little sense for this protagonist to stock up that much, especially during her teenager years. Unless she has unlimited fun, a lot of fun, which I don't see from the way she conduct her living. And you don't really stock up that much before you're having a successful result. So it's quite questionable to me about the availability of this substance. And then the third one is nitpicks. I know it's entertaining to see a sleazy jerk turn into an intelligent, heroic love interest, but don't make the characters so different when they are first introduced. I mean, someone who is so called very sensible at the end, who studies and respect tornadoes and human life, do the fireworks stunts, dangerously cutting on a high-speed car, it's feel a bit out of character for me. It's just a 180 that movie this movie like to do to to probably give you some surprise of everything, but it's too out of character. But there is a nitpicks. So if 1996 Twitter broke a whopping increase in meteorology studies, maybe this more accurate one will bring more. I don't know. Again, thank you.